You got it all wrong, home buyer, investor. Now is not the time for lowball offers. I know that you think it is because the market's changing and you think that sellers are going to be immediately desperate. But the thing that you don't understand is that sellers don't get it. They're not there yet, and they still have appraisable comps from the last 2 years to justify the higher prices. It doesn't mean they're going to get them, but some of them are. And you, just because you want a good deal, can't start lowballing buyers. Lowballing sellers. It's all about the buyers because you want to get a super deal. You're not going to get a super deal in the state of New Jersey right now. If you do, great job. But I'm just telling you, a super deal is compared to price. And if we can verify that their price is okay and not dramatically overpriced, they're probably going to be okay. And even if it is dramatically overpriced, you sending a low ball affects you long term. There's no reason to send a low ball offer unless the seller and listing agent tell you it's okay. Why? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm the buyer. If I ask you to make an offer, you should just make it. No, we have a reputation to uphold, and we're actually trying to protect you in case the seller comes back later. So, say there's a property for $1 million that's listed for $1 million. We all know it's worth 800, but the seller's stubborn and it's been on the market 10 days. If you send an offer of 800,000, what we think it's worth within the first 10 days, the seller's never going to talk to you out of ego or whatever. They think it's worth $1 million. I always check with the listing agent. I'll say, hey, we have this valued a lot lower than you have. Is it worth sending it in under a certain point? And sometimes they'll say they're only looking for over asking. The reason why we don't send it is because in a little while, 2 months, 120 days, they may finally get it. And if you haven't found a home, then you have leverage. You don't have leverage if you send a lowball offer too soon. The seller's never going to talk to you again, even if your offer is good later. Nobody wants to beg for an offer back that they should have taken 120 days ago because they're embarrassed. So if you're a home buyer and you and I were correct on the price, there's still plenty of times where I'm going to tell you, I'm not sending the offer. It's not in your best interest. If you try to force me to send the offer, I'm not going to do it. You can send the offer with someone else, but I'm not going to affect my reputation, your potential to get the property, especially when somebody said, don't send the offer. They're not even going to look at it. That's me protecting you. And if you didn't know, we have another video that will explain why we are willing to lose you as a client to protect you. You can watch that right there. It's important. We have a standard of ethics on my team. My name is Jonathan Green. I run this big team called Streamline Properties on Market. We're brokered by eXp Realty. And this is something that I've seen because I've had 3 clients who wanted to offer very, very low prices, assuming that the high interest rates and the market dictated that they could get it, but they can't. In 2 of the 3 cases, they had already accepted offers above asking, and I had clients wanting to bid 100,000 below asking. So no, I'm not going to send that. And on the last one, we were told they're not going to look at anything under this price point. So if a client wants to send something under that price point, it makes me look bad. What I do is I say to the listing agent who already told me, don't send anything under this list point. They're not even going to look at it. I say, hey, I couldn't get them up to that point yet. Can you just keep me in the loop in case anything changes? What that does is it doesn't show my cards. Haven't told them what our original offer was. It's too low. It keeps it open. The dialogue's still open. I'm a trained negotiator. I was a prosecutor for 8 years and a criminal defense attorney for 2 years. I'm training all my agents to understand negotiation techniques as they relate to real estate. You don't want to show your cards if you don't have to, and you want to protect the future possibility of getting the property. But sometimes you just have to have sellers wait it out. They're stubborn. They're looking at high values. They want what they want. Just because you want what you want, and you may be correct about the value as a home buyer, does not mean the seller has to be reasonable or has to accept your reasonableness. That's it. I hope this has been helpful, but I just want to remind you, this is not the time for lowball offers. They're not going to win. Those are the ones that have been sitting for a year. And honestly, if they've been sitting that long, they're probably even more stubborn. You have to look at the overall state of the market, take into account what you have in terms of data and the feedback you get from the other side. And you have to know when the right time to present a low offer is. And if it's not now, you have to at least trust me. I know when the time is right, and sometimes right now is not it. Have a great day.